Good morning and welcome to News Conference Extra, a special segment of Today in LA Weekend. Pre-election polling has been sort of a nervous business ever since 2016, but we still make a go of it. Political consultant John Thomas, founder and president of Thomas Partners Strategies and the man behind the NBC4 KFI poll. Thanks for coming.
Great to be here.
We should point out that you represent and strategize for Republicans mostly.
But I will tell you, in our survey work we're doing with NBC and KFI, I'm calling balls and strikes here 100%.
And we love it. So before we get into your numbers on the race for governor, there's some polling that says that Republicans are starting to get enthused about this election because of Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, in our 8-week-long polling track with NBC and KFI, we started measuring this enthusiasm measurement because we're seeing nationally a trend where Republicans' enthusiasm is surging. We measure that in California. Consistently, Democrats have been above 90% in terms of enthusiasm, which is very high, and there's been a 10 to 20-point spread between Democrats and Republicans. This week we found the Republicans' enthusiasm is identically equal to Democrats.
How does that help Gavin Newsom, or I should say, how does that help John Cox?
Well, it helps
against Gavin.
Well, John Cox needs more than enthusiasm to get him across the finish line. Right now, we have him at a 12-point deficit, so he's going to need more than enthusiasm. What this matters is in the federal contests, in those swing races in Orange County, like Young Kim and Mimi Walters. Enthusiasm gaps can make the difference between Mimi Walters winning and losing.
Now, both those Republicans and others have counted on the gas tax repeal, Proposition 6, to gin up turnout on the Republican side. There's always a debate as to whether or not that works. How's Prop 6 doing?
It's not doing great. We tested it. We've been testing it every week, but we took a deep look this week, and we used the exact language that voters are going to see on the ballot, and that's the key, is to model what voters are actually going to see in the voting booth. And we're finding that the yes side is underwater at about 21%, to the no side above 40%. The gas tax repeal is not going to pass. And what's more concerning and really illuminating, if you want the gas tax repeal to succeed, is that only 36% of Republicans are voting yes.
The belief is that Prop 6 was going to send a lot of Republicans to the polls to vote for the repeal of the gas tax and vote for another Republican.
And if there's only 36% that are even saying yes to the gas tax, how in the world is that enthusiasm going to trickle down ticket? It won't.
The race for lieutenant governor, you have, again, this is a low information campaign.
Yes.
Not many people pay attention, but it is a stepping stone to higher office.
It is. Yeah, you're buying a ticket into the game. And what we're finding is generally the candidate that spends the most is going to win, or as what we like to say, the tallest poppy in the field will survive. Eleni Koulonakis, she is now bridging, she's starting to get ahead this week. We've got her at 30% to Ed Hernandez's 24%. Remember, in the prior weeks, it was identically tied, about 23-23. So we'll see. Both campaigns are on television. Next week's poll will be more indicative. If Eleni continues to lead, it's her race.
How about the race for superintendent of public instruction? You always have a sort of a pitch battle between a candidate who is sympathetic to organized labor, certainly the Teachers Union, the California Teachers Association, and somebody from outside.
Yeah, this is really a race between the pro-charter school movement, Marshall Tuck, and the pro-teachers union, Tony Thurmond. As up until last week, Marshall Tuck had almost a 20-point advantage with a large undecided. Now both sides are spending. It is a dead-even race at 30% Marshall Tuck, 28% Tony Thurmond, with 41% still undecided. This is a total jump ball this week, and we'll watch as it moves along.
And finally, you haven't polled this, but in Orange County, you have 4 competitive congressional seats. You have the 25th in Simi Valley and the High Desert and Steve Knight's seat. What are the chances those are going to flip to a Democrat?
Good that several of them are. Diane Harkey is the Republican running down for Darrell Iss's old seat. In most public polling, not that we've done for NBC, but most public polling has Diane down from 8 to 10 points. You can also see the actions of the Republican Party. The Republican Party's congressional arm has pulled out of that Diane Harkey race, signaling they think that that's too far gone. Mimi Walters is highly competitive. I give the advantage today to the Democrat. Young Kim against Gil Cisneros in the 39th. Total jump ball, could go either way. Dana Rohrabacher is a 10-point Republican registration advantage. We shouldn't even be talking about this race, but we are, because right now, when you look at at a midterm cycle where the Democrats are trying to take back the House, exactly the kind of incumbent that loses is the one that looks and smells just like Dana Rohrabacher, somebody who hasn't had a competitive race in 20 years, is a terrible fundraiser, and running against Harley Ruda, who's kind of a do-no-harm candidate, former registered Republican, where in a district where Trump's underwater and pulling the incumbent down. I wouldn't be surprised if that flips. And then lastly, the Steve Knight race up in the Antelope Valley, same kind of scenario. A candidate who's not running a hard race, not a great fundraiser, in an area where there's lots of Latinos and Trump is underwater. We're watching these closely, but let's just say this. They need high Republican enthusiasm to hang on, and they need Trump to tick up a few points between now and Election Day to hold on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thomas, you're the best.
Thanks.
Coming up at 9 o'clock, we talk with State Senator Kevin De Leon, a Democrat running against a fellow Democrat for the United States Senate. That would be Dianne Feinstein. Plus, Proposition 10, a debate over the rent control initiative on the November ballot. That's news conference at 9 following Meet the Press. We'll see you then.